On September 13 of 2020, the Los Angeles Rams hosted the Dallas Cowboys in the first Sunday night game of the season. But the contest was more important than just the return of the NFL amidst a worldwide pandemic. It was also the first ever game in Inglewood, California's brand new state-of-the-art stadium called SoFi Stadium. The inaugural event followed more than 5 years of design and construction, as well as over 20 years of failed planning from multiple groups and individuals. It was an extremely welcome homecoming for the two NFL teams who will share the stadium, the Rams and the Chargers, who previously played at two old, decrepit arenas, the Rams at the historic yet sun-baked LA Coliseum, the Chargers at the tiny Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson. From a design and urban planning standpoint, SoFi is revolutionary. It's not just a steel and concrete oblong open to fans only on a few fall Sundays and then for a few more concerts throughout the year. SoFi Stadium is revolutionary for what it will mean to the community in which it's housed year-round. The complex features a 2.5-acre public plaza, a 6,000-seat performance space, more than 1.5 million square feet of retail, restaurant, and office space, including the NFL Network headquarters and studios, at least 2,500 townhomes and apartments, and a hotel. The complex will be laid out on a layered landscape filled with hills, trees, places to pause and sit and eat, connected to a vibrant 25-acre community park surrounding a 5.5-acre lake. The 300-acre complex, to be called Hollywood Park, is slated to phase in over many years. The 70,000-seat stadium is subservient to all of the more widely accessible amenities and not the other way around. The idea for a mixed-use project to make the most of the giant monetary and logistical cost of the endeavor of building a stadium is not new. Sports-anchored developments have become commonplace in recent years, from Patriot Place in New England to the Arlington Entertainment District in Texas. But more than any of those developments, including Los Angeles' very own LA Live, this complex authentically coexists with its setting and its many disparate elements and facilities with one another. "We're trying to create an expression of Southern California," said Lance Evans, a principal with HKS Architects, "something that would resonate with this climate and with this place. To fully appreciate this modern architectural marvel, we must take a look back at its fraught history." The beginning of the story is 26 years ago, when both the Rams and Raiders left Los Angeles after the 1994 season, the former ditching for St. Louis, the latter migrating just north to Oakland, and last year on to Las Vegas. At the time, no one thought that the entertainment capital of the world would be without the nation's most popular sport for more than a few years. Instead, an entire generation grew up without a home team. For years, politicians and businessmen alike, such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Al Davis, and Frank McCourt, tried and failed to bring a football team back to Los Angeles. For years, NFL teams struggling to attract fan attendance flirted with moving their franchises to the City of Angels, such as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2011 and the Minnesota Vikings in 2013. Each attempt was squashed, either due to opposition from the public, local politicians, or even the commissioner of the NFL. Yes, in 2012, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell poo-pooed the chances of a franchise relocating to Los Angeles, saying that he doesn't want to move any of our teams, and that he'd only add a team through expansion only if there were plans to add two in order to keep the number of teams in the league at an even number. The problem with the endeavor was that LA, unlike other cities around the country, had no public money for a stadium nor any appetite to change that. Any venue would have to be paid for privately, and the deal wasn't attractive enough for developers unless they had at least a piece of the team. The failed attempts lasted until the day in 2014 when Rams owner and billionaire businessman Stan Kroenke bought property on nearly 300 acres in Inglewood, California, adjacent to the Forum, the former home of the Los Angeles Lakers. It wasn't until a year later, however, that he announced his plans to build an NFL stadium on the site, along with the owners of the adjacent 238-acre Hollywood Park site owned by the Stockbridge Capital Group. But this announcement by no means sealed the deal for football's return to Los Angeles. More projects than you can count on two hands had died further along in the process than that January 2015 announcement. Just after the announcement, a former Secretary of Homeland Security released a report saying that the location of the stadium near Los Angeles' LAX airport provided a national security risk. The report surmised that terrorists could try to shoot down a plane over the stadium or crash one into it as part of a terrorist event twofer. The motivations for the report, however, were shady, filed at the behest of entertainment company AEG, who was pursuing its own LA stadium, Farmers Field, for downtown Los Angeles. And absurdly enough, 4 weeks after that report came out, the San Diego Chargers and Oakland Raiders revealed their joint pursuit of a stadium in Carson on 168 acres atop an old landfill. What ensued was a long political battle among the billionaire backers of the three competing plans for the future of football in Los Angeles. Inglewood's city council unanimously approved a ballot initiative to greenlight the stadium and bypass the lengthy environmental review less than a week after the Carson plan was announced. Then AEG dropped out of the running, ending its proposed plan for Farmers Field. Though civil and public, there was animosity among the competing backers, with jockeying in presentations and meetings to NFL owners and executives, updated renderings, community outreach events, and frequent media leaks. Finally, NFL owners gathered on January 12, 2016 at the Westin Houston Memorial City Hotel to decide once and for all which teams would move to LA and to which stadium. The result of the meeting was a 30-2 vote in favor of the Rams moving into the stadium in Inglewood, with the Chargers given a one-year option to join them. Later that year, on November 17, 2016, ground was broken on the Inglewood site, with Cranky, Goodell, and Inglewood Mayor James T. Butts Jr. all present. Shortly after that, the Chargers exercised their option to join the Rams in the Inglewood Stadium. And on September 15 of 2019, it was announced that personal finance company SoFi had acquired the naming rights to the new stadium with a 20-year deal valued at over $30 million per year, under which the stadium would be known as SoFi Stadium. The company became an official partner of both the Rams and the Chargers, as well as a partner of the performance venue and surrounding entertainment district. But the struggles weren't done. Construction on the stadium was perilous, with rain flooding the excavation site and forming a lake. A construction worker tragically died after falling from the top of the 120-foot roof, and another due to unknown causes that were later revealed to be drug-related. The goal was for both the Rams and the Chargers to move in for the start of the 2019-2020 season, but due to the spiraling construction costs and other logistical logjams, that goal was mended for the teams to move in for the 2020-2021 season. The coronavirus outbreak added another complication to that hopeful 2020 start, with many construction workers testing positive during the last-ditch push to get the site ready for the season. But it's safe to say, after the many years of failed proposals and attempts for relocation and expansion, and then the competition between the three stadium proposals, only for the winning Inglewood site to undergo a perilous construction process, all capped off by the pandemic, which derailed the final push for the opening of the stadium, that the final product was well worth the struggles. The stadium is a marvel of architecture and urban planning. The edges of the stadium open to the outdoors along the sides, blurring the line between interior and exterior. The open concept design pulls in ocean breezes, its permeable flanks, the lifting of its seating bowl above the ground level concourse, and massive 60 feet by 60 feet adjustable openings in its roof that can slide like a sunroof on a car. The roof, which covers and unifies the stadium bowl, plaza, and adjacent area, is made of ethylene tetrafluoroethylene, or ETFE, translucent plastic that through its various properties has the capacity to shade fans from about half of the sun's heat. This climate comfort protection from the aggressive California heat will make the stadium a far cry from the notoriously scorching Los Angeles Coliseum. The interior of the stadium also contains a massive oval-shaped screen that hangs from the rafters and projects images on both sides, making it viewable from every single seat in the stadium, and perhaps to those on the outside taking advantage of the permeable sections of the stadium. Many are saying that this marvel of LED technology has overtaken its cousin in Arlington's AT&T Stadium as the alpha dog big screen of the NFL. In terms of its status as a mixed-use fixture of its community, connected to the stadium via textured pathways and a grove of palm trees, is Lake Park. The main feature of the park is an artificial lake that collects water runoff from around the complex. It's surrounded by a mix of flora, including some quite exotic plants. The greenery is an effort by Studio MLA, the stadium's construction company, to connect Southern California to similar environments worldwide, including the Mediterranean region, the Cape of Africa, and Chile. The park is open to the public every day, not just on game days, making the landscape part of the neighborhood. And over the next few years, the other amenities promised in the proposal will slowly get rolled out. The complex's ability to host almost any type of event should help energize the site most of the year. If you want to host your event at SoFi, buyer beware. It already has a packed schedule for the 2020s, slated to host the Super Bowl in 2022, the College Football National Championship in 2023, and will host the opening and closing ceremonies of the 2028 Summer Olympics, as well as the archery and soccer events. Thanks to COVID-19, however, fans haven't been allowed inside as the Chargers and Rams got used to their new digs during the ongoing NFL season, which means we won't know how the complex actually holds up to public use until after the pandemic, until a game day with actual fans, actual concessions, actual crowd noise, actual traffic, and consistent use of the surrounding facilities. So, like everything else in our current state of suspended animation, we'll have to wait and see if all the planning and jockeying and struggling was worth it in the end in transforming SoFi into a true community asset beyond just providing Angelenos for a football team to root for every fall Sunday. What's been achieved so far is impressive, but it's just the beginning.